like wokeness has no boundaries in America lately. It has even infiltrated rap music. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. One man is not tempering his music, but rather he is taking the crowd head on. The rapper, the one, the only, Tom Macdonald will join us live next to talk, or should I say, rap all about it. We'll be right back. Wokeness appears to be hitting a sour note with many Americans like yourself. It's also inspiring new, let's just call it, backlash hits that are becoming music to the ears of real Americans. Take the new rap and country mashup song, The End of the World, by rapper Tom Macdonald, featuring country star John Rich. Take a look.
Feels like the end is near, our freedom's disappearing. People playing God, call it genetic engineering. Media misleading us and evil's interfering. While the government we need became the power that we're fearing. Our billionaires are going to space, don't blame them for leaving. Birds are falling out the air, fish washing up on our beaches. This is end times, humans got a deadline. Children are the future till we ruin them with headlines. Should be past their bedtime, but everyone's woke. They told us chase a dollar that made everyone broke. I feel like cryptocurrency is probably our last financial hope. Soon enough, the government will leave your bank account froze. Judgment day is coming, you can run or you can stand and fight. Panic in the dark or leave rebellions by the candlelight. This ain't your granddaddy's planet Earth, it's black and white. The end is coming, I'll see y'all in the afterlife. It's the end of the world, I will do better next time. Oh yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it. If it's the end of the world, I know that I have lived my life to the fullest. Yeah, the fullest.
Love it. Joining us live now to talk more about the inspiration behind this awesome song that is just crushing it there on the charts, beating out Taylor Swift. I mean, forget it, Miley Cyrus. Our God is the one, the only Tom Macdonald himself. You are still crushing it out there, Tom.
We're doing fairly well, yeah. And
fairly? You're doing really well. Number one. I would say, I can't get much better than that.
Well, I'm expecting tomorrow at 9 a.m. when Billboard releases their charts. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a couple number ones on Billboard, so it's very cool.
That is very cool. So I have to ask you, I mean, clearly wokeness inspired some of this song, but give us some more details about it.
Yeah, I think it's really just a commentary on the state of the world right now. And kind of like you said, I think this sort of performative wokeness has sort of plagued America for the last at least 5 years super intensely. So I've made a lot of music, sort of politically charged anthems and music about various social issues, and one of them being this sort of this wokeness that's taking over. But that's really all it is. You know, it's a commentary on the state of the world right now, and I think that a lot of us feel like we're going down the wrong road. So it's important to point that out.
Well, the themes of a lot of your music actually deal with this whole woke ideology. How did you start performing about that in particular, and then said, hey, John Rich, you're a country singer, I'm a rapper, want to do a song about this?
I think John and I coming together is sort of it's a microcosm of what would solve a lot of the problems in this country right now. And it's two guys who look very different, who come from very different backgrounds. Sort of the phrase that John and I have been throwing around is, we look different, but we feel the same. And I think that there's a lot of people out there who look different, but they feel the same. And I think that the country is more divided now than ever. And the divide is largely caused by surface level stuff. And I think that if you look underneath the surface, the face tattoos, or John's handlebar mustache and his cowboy hat, if you look underneath that stuff, you got two guys who both feel the same about this country and want to get things back on track. And I think that songs like this might aid in that. And I hope that other people can look at John and I, two completely different guys coming together, and realize that, hey man, like, there's a lot of completely different people out here. My neighbors, or the guy that lives 2 blocks away, or the guy that lives on the other side of the country, and we all look very different, but we all feel very similar at the core. And I hope that's the and sort of extrapolate from the video and apply that into their lives, because I think that would cause a massive change in this country.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that feel that the country is more divided now than it ever has been, and people are afraid, whereas you're not, and that's saying a lot because you're in Los Angeles. So when people think of wokeness, of all the cities in this country, that's probably going to be one of the top to come to mind. Yet you're being brave, and not a lot of people are. There are a lot of people who think like you, who are afraid to speak out, especially in the industry that you're in. So what made you decide to take a stand and say, you know what, I'm going to speak my truth?
You know, well, there's two things. A lot of people they're afraid by trial because of trial by internet. They're afraid of ridicule from strangers on the internet, so they don't speak up. And then there's a lot of artists who are tied to record labels and have sponsorships and endorsements and relationships that they don't want to lose or sacrifice by making their music consistent with the way that they actually feel. I'm independent. There is no record label. There's no manager. There's no marketing team, publicist, PR, distribution, nothing. My girlfriend shoots all my music videos. I write all the music. We design every single t-shirt, distribute our own stuff, shoot our own videos, release our own videos. We're in total control. So there's no record label here that's going to drop me. There's no sponsorship I'm going to lose. I am uncancelable. And that's the way that it has to be. So, you know, I was making a lot of the same music that you sort of hear from mainstream hip hop, all about cars. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We can still hear you, Tom. There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. So I'm back. So I was making music very similar to a lot of the stuff you hear in the mainstream: cars and clothes and money and girls and partying, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I had a really acute sort of like a mental breakdown as the result of endless and clothes and money and girls and partying, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I had a really acute sort of like a mental breakdown as the result of emulating the things that I was hearing in that music. And when I sort of recovered from that, I was like, hey, what do I want to talk about in my music? Do I want to be pushing the same messages that put me in the situation that I'm currently in now? Or do I want to talk about have an appetite for honest music? And that's very important.
What do you hope that listeners get from your music? Because obviously it sounds like you want to protect young, maybe aspiring rappers like yourself, to not go the dark route, as you put it, but to be true to themselves. Am I hearing that correctly? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of the things. But I think primarily my music is about creating discussion and creating dialogue and people having conversations and sort of breaking people free from this super linear thinking where it's you have to think this way because you're on the left, or you have to think this way because you're on the right. And a lot of people don't realize that both sides of this equation are totally corrupted, increasingly so. That both sides of this equation are totally corrupted, increasingly so over the last few years. So my music's about empowering people and creating a space for people to think freely for themselves. And be critical of even the people that they agree with. It's grades here.
Well, we hope that you'll think of Real America as a voice, and maybe, who knows, maybe you could debut it on our network. We'd love to hear it and see it.
I'd love to come back. It was my pleasure.
It is our pleasure. Thank you. Best of luck to you and your girlfriend. Thank you so much.